talkSPORT 2 is your place for live coverage of England's Test series in New Zealand starting on Wednesday. England will be looking to bounce back from a series loss to Pakistan, whilst New Zealand come into this in fine form after beating India 3-0 on the subcontinent. That is quite a feat. In fact, it was the first time ever India lost a home series via a clean sweep in a series of 3 tests or more. And some breaking news this morning is that Jordan Cox has been ruled out of the tour with a fractured thumb. So, joining us to look ahead to this latest series for England in New Zealand, it is double Ashes winner Steve Harmison. Harmy, how are you?
Harmy.
Good morning, good evening. How are we? Yes, we're all very well out here in New Zealand.
Good. Tell us first of all, how long did it take you to get there?
A long time. I think my flight from Newcastle to New Zealand took 40 hours. I think I was on 5 different planes. I think I ate about 7 times in the air. Drank at 6 o'clock in the morning at some point in the world. But it's great. We're here, and I mean the coverage is going to be excellent. You mentioned India beating New Zealand beating India out in India. So, New Zealand are on the huge crest of a wave, coming in with full of confidence, and England have just had a massive blow. To say it's a massive blow, we're talking about a player who's not played Test cricket yet. But unfortunately, England have picked such a squad of 16 men, which, beggared belief at the start when me and Neil Manthorp talked about it on the following on many, many times about picking 3 spinners in a part of the world where you don't need spinners, and having no recognised wicketkeeper, because Jordan Cox is not a recognised wicketkeeper. Ollie Pope has kept wicket, I think, once or twice for England, not really kept for Surrey. And now, probably the most under microscope player in English cricket is Ollie Pope, who, been struggling for runs at number 3, is now going to have to keep wicket. We're going to have to try and get somebody into this country, and I've just explained, 40 hours it took us. So to get the replacement in the country ready for Thursday morning, I don't think that's going to happen. So it looks like Ollie Pope is going to have to keep wicket for England.
So hang on, let's just go back to the sort of points you made there with this squad and when it was announced. So it obviously raised a few eyebrows. What was the thinking behind the ECB, do you think, with their squad selection? Is it because it's so relentless, this tour, that they've given some people a break, or is that not the case?
I don't know, to be honest. Now I'm really trying to second guess the ECB or the selection party on that. I just think if your face fits, and you're a good tourist, you're involved with this group. They really do like to be look after the group and make sure that it's a comfortable environment to be in. It's arguably, a lot of people in county cricket, a lot of people outside this group will say it's harder to get out of this group than it is actually to get into the group on performance or anything, because you do get protected. You look at Zach Crawley over the course of the last few years, even Ollie Pope has struggled for form, not being under the microscope and looking like getting dropped. So from that point of view, it looks as though it's harder to get out of the group than it is to get in it. They've picked 3 spinners in an area of the world where you don't really use spin. The likelihood is, over my shoulder, about a kilometre away, is the Hagley Oval. England have brought 3 spinners in a 16-man squad. The likelihood is, over there, New Zealand won't play a recognised spinner, because they're going to try and fit Kane Williamson in. So I think if your face fits in this group, you get into the squad and you stay in the squad. And I think England have gone, right, we've got a nice group from Pakistan, 16 men who are gone well. We're going to stick with them. We're going to take them to New Zealand. But the problem they had was they didn't have a recognised wicketkeeper, because Jamie Smith's on paternity leave, brought Jordan Cox in, and now that decision's come back to haunt them.
Harmy, you mentioned New Zealand there. How good are this New Zealand team? Very good.
Cast, they're very good. They've just won in India. I'm trying to explain it in football terms is very, very difficult. It's like probably Leicester winning the Premier League. When it went 3-0, Neil Manthorp said on following on, it's like moon landing. It's like a moon landing thing in the world. It's something that just doesn't happen very often. Nobody goes to India and wins 1 test, 2 tests, never mind a clean sweep. India hadn't been beaten for best part of 12 years in a series in India, and New Zealand have gone and won 3-0. So, and without their best player, it'd be like England winning in India 3-0 without Joe Root. Kane Williamson's to come back in. So they're a very, very strong side, even stronger at home. I still think England with a full-strength squad will give New Zealand a game, and I still think England will win in this series. This is a blow, not having Jordan Cox, who hasn't played Test cricket, but a wicketkeeper is such a niche position. especially now you're asking Ollie Pope to do it, because he's the one man in this 16 party who is under real pressure to keep his place.
So why are you so confident England can win this series?
I think England have got a very, very good side out here. I mean, Joe Root's in ridiculous form, going past all them records throughout the summer. Ben Stokes is coming back to fitness and hopefully back to form. England are on the verge of 10 test matches against the big two, Australia and India. So England have to be really at it, and I think they will be. I think they'll be fully focused and at it. The problem you've had, and the reason why it's a little bit doom and gloom tonight, is because the one specialist position where only one person's there, I mean, that is a huge blow to lose your specialist wicketkeeper. So, but apart from that, they've got bowlers I think can bowl on these surfaces. From a seam bowler's point of view, Atkinson was off the back of a brilliant summer. Carson, Potts did really well in Pakistan. Wokes, these suit, they're like English type conditions, these suit somebody like Chris Wokes. So it'll be interesting to see the makeup of England's side come Thursday at Hagley Oval. This is a little setback, but I still think England are really good enough and strong enough to give New Zealand a game, and I still think they'll win the series.
Army, the most important question is where you're going to watch Newcastle tomorrow night. Obviously, they're playing at home. And what's going to be the time you're going to have to watch it?
It's not bad timing, to be honest, Cass. I think it's about, it'll be at 9 o'clock in the morning. So I think it'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it. I got up this morning to watch. I was really looking forward to watching the City-Tottenham game when Tottenham turned up and City didn't. So I'm hopeful that West Ham do the same. On Tuesday morning out in New Zealand, and Newcastle have as easy an afternoon as what Tottenham had at the Etihad this morning. So jet lag is not a bad thing when the football is through the night. If Newcastle win, it's huge problems for West Ham and Julian Lopetegui. But when it comes to Newcastle, it puts Newcastle right back in the mix. Well, it'll be 2-3 points off second and third place. And I think with all the problems Newcastle have had in the transfers in the summer, I think that all goes away if Newcastle can win tomorrow night and really kick on through December and get into January, which will be in a good place to then make probably 1 or 2 signings, because Newcastle hopefully should have some money burning holes in the pockets of the hierarchy at Newcastle, not having spent it in the summer.
Brilliant, Harmy. Enjoy New Zealand.
Cheers, thank you.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.